Welcome to the Global News podcast on YouTube, where we go behind the headlines. Today, we're looking at the arrest of Britain's former Prince, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, on suspicion of misconduct in public office. I'm joined by our UK correspondent, Rob Watson. Rob, this is unprecedented.
As far as I know, it's unprecedented, Alex, as well as utterly astonishing. I mean, certainly not in living memory can anyone think of a senior member of the royal family, albeit that he's been distanced and stripped of his titles, who's been arrested on such an incredibly serious charge. And so people have been scratching their heads thinking, well, you know, what royal scandal, what on earth could this possibly compare to? And I think people can't think of anything in recent times, not even the marital problems of the now King Charles.
And the police involvement was sparked by emails that appeared in the other great scandal of our time, great global scandal, the Epstein files.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the chain of events is that a complaint was made to the police by an organisation, a Republican organisation I could slip in there, Alex, which said that when these emails were made public, released in the United States by the Department of Justice, they seemed to suggest that Andrew, when he was a trade envoy on behalf of the UK government, that was between 2001 and 2011, essentially pushing Britain as a good place to do business, pushing British trade deals, that he had sent confidential information, confidential reports to his friend Jeffrey Epstein. In particular, it relates to emails sent in 2010 and 2011 relating to business trade trips to Singapore, I think, Hong Kong and Vietnam. So that's at the basis of what the police have been looking at.
Yeah, Andrew's career has been in trouble ever since that disastrous interview with the BBC a few years ago now. But it has been his relationship with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein which has powered his fall from grace.
Yes, absolutely. And what a fall from grace. I mean, I suppose you could say that Andrew had been struggling ever since he left the military, and as the second son of the Queen, you are always, what is it referred to, Alex, as a spare to the heir, and that throughout history that has created difficulty for members of the royal family who are not close in line to the succession. I think he's still 8th. So yeah, ever since he was in the military, he'd been sort of searching for a meaningful role in life, and of course how to finance his life, and that appears to be where he's got horribly unstuck. And in particular, this what seems pretty clear from these emails, an incredibly close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, both sort of socially and financially, and it is the revelations from that friendship which have seen really, I mean, I don't think we can say there's been anything quite on this scale in Britain recently, Alex, that in terms of the fall from grace to a state of disgrace. And we are a country that, perhaps unlike the United States, we revel as a country in scandal and shame, and Andrew is very much at the centre of that.
How much worse can it get? I mean, these are really serious charges. Could he go to jail?
Goodness, how much worse could it get apart from this fall from grace? Well, I suppose we should start off, Alex, by saying just how grim being arrested has been, because for people watching who don't know this about Britain, I mean, it's not a glamorous process, whether you're a former prince or just an ordinary criminal suspect. I mean, he was taken from his home, apparently without any notice, advance warning, at 8 a.m, pretty early. There were police cars at the back and the front of the home. He will be in custody, put in custody somewhere, and you should understand, when you go to a police station, there's an officer at the front desk. No bowing and scraping or the kind of thing that Andrew would be used to. You're given your name, your details. You will spend some time in a small cell. I mean, all that's there is a toilet and a bed. It's a pretty Spartan affair. Now, you said, could things get worse? Well, when you're arrested in the UK, there's sort of 3 things that could happen. One, I guess it's the worst thing, is that you are charged, possibly released on bail in a situation like this where it's not violent. 2, you could be released, but you're warned, without being charged, but you're warned that the investigation continues. And then the third is you're released and the police say, you're in the clear, don't worry, we've looked at all of this. So, to answer your question, the worst thing that can happen is, that he's charged and that there is a trial. And as you said, Alex, this is an incredibly serious offence, misconduct in public office. I mean, the worst penalty you could get would be life in prison. So, this isn't a parking ticket.
And the royal family have never had to deal with something like this. How bad is it for the royal family?
Do you know, I've seen two theories about this, Alex, which I will share with you. I mean, one theory is that, of course, it's bad to have a senior member of the royal family, again, albeit someone stripped of his titles, arrested, charged potentially with something serious, certainly at least investigated. But that actually, under this first theory, you could see the Constitution works. That no matter how grand you are, even if you're the second son of the former Queen Elizabeth, if you're suspected of wrongdoing, the police are going to turn up at your door and take you off to the police station. So that is one theory, that actually, short-term discomfort, but it proved the system works. And the second theory is that this is just truly bad news for the royal family as people, but also for the monarchy as an institution, and that Republicans, those who don't want to see a monarchy, will use this to say, look, we really need to have a really deep think in this country about whether we need a royal family or not. I mean, there is, I suppose, if you like, a view which amalgamates the two, which is to say that the royal family, as people, may be in a difficult position, but the monarchy itself is something rather different, and that public opinion tends to show that there's more support for it than not, whatever individuals are currently occupying the throne or places near to it.
Briefly, Rob, before you go, of course, massive legal troubles here, but potentially Andrew being called to appear before the US Congress.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. You could say that Andrew's woes are transatlantic. I mean, potentially very, very serious here, as we've been discussing. But absolutely, there have been repeated calls from Congress that he should appear, because it's one of the congressional committees is doing a series of hearings into all of this. And absolutely, they have demanded, I think more than once now, that Andrew testify. I mean, again, I think it immensely unlikely, based on past experience and past requests, that he would ever cross the Atlantic to somehow appear in Washington. That really does seem fanciful. But he's certainly under pressure, both sides of the Atlantic, to cooperate with investigators, whether they be, American congressmen or British policemen.
Rob, thank you. The BBC's Rob Watson. And we should say that Andrew has, of course, previously denied wrongdoing in relation to Epstein. He has not responded to the BBC's requests for comment on any of the specific allegations to the release of the millions of Epstein files in January. If you like this episode, please do subscribe here on YouTube. If you have an idea for a story, you can leave a message in the comments below. And there is plenty more in the regular editions of the Global News podcast. Do subscribe wherever you get your BBC podcasts.